Hello everybody, welcome back to my newest video. Today I will talk about my favorite capped 240 players of the Jupiler Pro League. I want to prepare you for the next season, so I try to make a choice of players I expect to stay in the Jupiler Pro League. I made the choice out of 2 goalkeepers, 2 defenders, 3 midfielders and 3 attackers. Please take your time and subscribe to my channel to follow me for more. As first goalkeeper I chose for Simon Mignolet. He is currently playing for Club Brugge. Next year Club Brugge will for sure have European football, whether it is in the Conference League, Europa League or Champions League, we will see. He is scoring a lot of times above the 60, so this means that he has been decisive. So he had a clean sheet in those games. Important is to see that he gets the clean sheets, but he doesn't score a lot of all around. We see the next games of Mignolet, they look very tough, so I don't expect him to get a lot of clean sheets, which will have a big impact on his current cost for the capped modus. This will be in our favor, so I expect him to have a lower cost at the start of next season. As the next player we have Sinan Bolat, the goalkeeper of Westerlo. Westerlo did very well this year. A lot of people didn't expect them to get such a good results. They are currently in playoff 2. Do not expect them to get European football. Scores of Sinan Bolat, we directly see that sometimes he hits very high. 2 times 100 score this year against Club Brugge. Bolat is a sure starter for next year. As the next player I chose Watanabe from KV Kortrijk. He's a very fast player and he sometimes gets a clearance of the line. I really like this player. He was a rock in the defense of KV Kortrijk this year. Although there are some rumors of him going to Club Brugge. Personally, I hope he does not go there, because I'm not sure if he will be a starter in Club Brugge. I like Watanabe as a capped 240 player because he is scoring some games very high, but most of the time he's scoring quite average, around 50. In all his games for Kortrijk he had 5 clearances off the line. Important to know is Watanabe played all the minutes that were possible for Kortrijk this year. I expect KV Kortrijk next year to play better than this year. I expect them to end up in the top 12 at least. The next player I chose is Christian Burgess. He is playing for Union Saint-Gilloise. They went very far in the Europa League. Last year Burgess scored a lot better than this season. His recent scores were not as high as the ones from last year, as you can clearly see when we go to all. Last year he was scoring all the time 70s, 80s, and this year it was more around 50. So I really believe that Burgess is still able to get those high scores as before. Next year I expect Union to play in the Europa League. I am not 100% sure Burgess will stay at Union, as he only has 1 more year of contract. It will be important to follow up if they give him a new contract for some more years. Otherwise I think it might be possible he will leave. Next we have the midfielders. As a first midfielder I chose for Sven Kums. He is currently playing for KA Gent. He has 1 more year of contract, but as you might have already read in the media, Kums will get a new contract for 1 or 2 more years. Gent is currently playing in playoff 2, so they need to end up first in their group to get European football. I think it will also be very important to follow up if the coach from KA Gent changes or not. The current coach really liked to rotate during midweeks, which was quite annoying for Sorare players. Kums has a very good pass and shot. Before he was taking all the set pieces, but now as I saw he is giving the corners from the left side of the field. And together with Dessart he is taking set pieces. Before he was also taking penalties some years ago, but now it's up to Kuipers to take these. As you can see the scores of Sven Kums, he is scoring very average, which makes him a good capped 240 player, with sometimes a decisive. I expect his capped cost to drop a little bit. during these playoffs, as now 2 times in a row he got a decisive. The next player I have for you is Merveille Bocadi. This is one of my favorite capped 240 players because he is all the time scoring between 40 and 60, which makes him very, very good, as you already know what you are going to get from him. Standard is having a really good season this year and are still able to get European football, although I think it will be tough against KA Gent, but let's see. The third player I chose for is Senne-Linnen, the central midfielder of Union Saint-Gilloise. The team is doing really good, as I already told you, and they will get European football next year. I really expect Linnen to stay, as last year he was injured all year long, and this year has been the first year he came back and he was playing very, very well. As you can see, he is all the time scoring between 40 and 60, which makes him very strong in the capped mode because you directly know you are going to get. This is very good because you already know that he is going to get you the average to get the threshold, and sometimes you might get a decisive, plus you have the midweek utility. The current coach of Union doesn't rotate so much, which makes it more easy as a Sorare player. Linnen is a very good passer and makes a lot of kilometers per match. He is very talented and I expect him to get a big future. Next, I want to present you my favorite forwards. I took 3 picks: Tissoudali, Storm and Hayashi. To start the season, I expect Tissoudali to be the strongest pick of my video. Tissoudali is currently playing for KA Gent. He has a contract till June 2026. Last year he wanted to leave for Valencia, but then he got an ACL injury, which led to a long period of injury for him. As I already explained to you, KA Gent is still able to get European football next year. As you can see, Tissoudali has been out for months and now he is starting to get time again. What is really good for the cap mode is the coach subbing him on 5 minutes before the end of the game, which leads to really low scores. This builds up a base for Tissoudali. If next game Tissoudali gets a 60, the score will not pump very, very high. So that will help us at the beginning of next season. He might play 10 more games with a really low capped score. Give you an idea of Tissoudali's score before his injury. He is an amazing player. He has a very, very good dribble and can very easily score goals. Last game he played 50 minutes and then the coach had to sub him on. He had to put a big bag of ice on his knee because he still had some little problems, but he is coming back. So this is my favorite pick of the 10 I will present you. A very, very good football player. I would even say the best football player in Belgium. Next we have Nicolas Storm, currently playing for KV Mechelen. KV Mechelen played the cup final against Antwerp, wherein they lost, so they won't have European football next year. Storm still has a contract until June 2026. Last year there were several rumors of him going to Turkey. I think there is still a possibility he leaves this year, so I would keep that in mind. I like Storm as a cap 240 player because he has a very good dribble and shot. He is very quick and has a nose for goals. Next year I expect Mechelen to do a bit better than this year. They had a lot of injuries this year. It would also help for Storm to get aside of him a good striker. And as there are rumors of Prevliak from Eupen going to Mechelen, this might be a good option for him. So as you can see, Storm didn't get a lot of decisive this year. Last year he did a lot better, with a lot of decisives. Then he had a better striker aside of him, Hugo Kuipers, who went to Gent afterwards. So I really believe that if Storm gets a better striker aside of him, he might get a lot more of decisives. As a last choice I have Hayashi from Sint-Truiden. In my opinion he is a very good player very technical. But this year he had a bit of bad luck and didn't get a lot of decisives. What also didn't help is Gianni Bruno playing very good for Sint-Truiden this year. But Bruno is leaving next season as he will go back to KA Gent. So this will give Hayashi some space to play. To be honest, I expected Sint-Truiden to do better this year. He started a lot of times from the bench this year. And he scored a lot of times between 30 and 40. As you can see, last year he got a lot more of decisives. So I really think that he is still able to get all these decisives. It's just a matter of time. Before, Hayashi was also taking the penalties. This is also something very important that I really recommend to look at which player takes the penalties. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel to see more content.